Hey, this is a video about Acid Factory's Darkwood. It's part 2, so make sure you check out the other videos first. And once more,
Beware of spoilers, ye who enter. Once upon a time, there was a forest known as Darkwood. It was a pleasant forest with kind people. Peace was all around, until one day, a star fell into the woods and cursed it. An unknown disease fell on the inhabitants of the woods. The cause and factors of infection are unknown. There seems to be no rhyme or reason. Naturally, the government paid attention to the rapidly worsening situation in the dark woods. It wasn't just the unknown disease. The dark woods grew at an absurd, unnatural pace. Not in the way forests usually do, but more akin to spreading goo on flat ground. It was as if the Darkwood had become alive, as a singular entity.
as the plague grew out of control, roadblocks were put into place. The government evacuated those they could and conducted expeditions into the Darkwood to investigate. Evacuation routes were consumed by the roots and the trees within what felt like an instant. So, the government coordinated with the military and built a series of tunnels, necessitated by the quickly growing trees, blocking off entrances and exits out of the woods. These tunnels were built underground so as to bypass the natural barricade that the Darkwood had formed around itself. The entrances and exits of these tunnels were well hidden by the basement of several well-defended and inconspicuous buildings across the Darkwood. Now, only the series of underground tunnels were left as a way in or out. And unfortunately, for the netizens of the woods, the entrances to these tunnels were not only hidden well, they were also locked by keys held by the government and military agents that were dispatched inside. Thus, they were effectively trapped. To the inhabitants that were now trapped, the government and military had essentially abandoned them. They felt betrayed and isolated. Hatred for those from outside, now known as outsiders amongst them, had spread. Outsiders who watched them as they languished from the plague. Outsiders who watched them from afar behind the trees. Outsiders who ignored their pleas for help and left them there. Outsiders who left them trapped while themselves leaving as they pleased through the tunnels. Hate had consumed them, transforming their jealousy, fear, and despair into sheer wrath. Unbeknownst to the outsiders, now the inhabitants of the woods only held hostility and distrust within them.
It felt like a dream. One day, there he was, taking a stroll in the woods. He loved the nature of the dark woods and would take regular treks there whenever he can. The next, a plague had spread, and suddenly the road was barricaded, isolating the dark woods as a quarantine zone. Those who went to camp would often stop by his town. It was 25 kilometers away from the sign that said Darkwood, so it was the nearest town to the Darkwoods itself. He enjoyed nature, and so it was convenient for him to take the trip to the forest. His home was a simple place, yet a comfortable one. He had loving parents who regularly sent him postcards. He found these postcards lovely and would occasionally send some himself. He had a lovely wife, one who would live with him in his simple apartment unit on the upper floor. They also have a pet dog together named Zurek, who loved being called a good boy and getting head pats. When he returned home, his beloved would often cook up a simple yet homely bowl of soup for him, leaving him a note if she wasn't around, telling him to heat it up.
They were fairly well off, being able to afford the latest brand of TV, the black and white Rubin. It's considered a real luxury item, and he was very much proud of it, ignoring the fact that it often broke down. Even more so than with his TV, however, he held great pride in his washing machine. It is called the Frania. It is very popular and highly contested for. He even queued for 2 days to get it. And boy was it worth it. The Frania was thorough, fast, and efficient. There was a window by the bedside. From there, he had a great view of the town below and the streets that led out of the town. Passing through the power lines and stretching far into the distance to the peaceful woods over yonder. The woods were close enough to the town that he could see it over the horizon. He loved listening to the rustling trees, its sound melding with the hustle and bustle of civilization around the town. It acted as a lullaby that without fail always led him into a deep, restful slumber. It was a simple and satisfying life, one that he believed would never change. And yet, all too easily, it did.
He remembered that day clearly. He had just gotten back from his excursion and had a warm bowl of soup for dinner with his beloved. He recently fixed his Rubin TV and shared precious time together watching the news with his beloved. Then they fed Zurek and went to bed together. The peaceful warmth of home and family, the safety and comfort of his bed, and the embrace of his beloved. He should have fallen fast asleep, yet that night he just couldn't. He felt restless. Whenever he couldn't sleep, he would look out the window, finding solace in the scenery. That night, however, something felt strange. By now, the curtain of darkness should have covered the world, but the scenery before him was strangely bright, an unsettling, unnatural brightness, different from that of moonlight. When suddenly, a blanket of light pierced through the dark of night and lit up the horizon. The light grew brighter. A great presence shook the world and jolted the man, waking his partner from her deep sleep. The brightness turned into a white star and shot through, splitting the sky in half. The light headed forth to the edge of the horizon, to the dark woods over yonder, descending lower and lower as it went forth and light up the world. The man watched in stunned silence as the now distant light, the falling star, descended upon the heart of the forest. followed by a short yet mighty burst of blinding light.
Hey, thanks for watching and tune in for part 3. If you've watched this far, please don't forget to like and subscribe. And if it's not too much trouble, please leave a comment for the algorithm.